Back with another episode of Middle Aged Mamas.
Whoop, whoop.
You guys, it's our season finale. I don't know if you actually call it season finale, but
sure.
We've been going strong from April 1st to this is
August 1st.
August 1st, 2023, straight through to today. So we're going to take a little bit of a breather, come back with all new episodes at the end of the summer with great guests planned. We will be back, but we're just going to do a little recap of the year because this has been a phenomenal journey with you guys. But before I get to that, let's just mix it up with some of our intros because this isn't a pet peeve. But do you know, yesterday I met someone new. And you know how you give little pleasantries. No, you give little pleasantries like, oh, you a mother? Do you have kids? Why this lady asked me if I was a grandma?
Whoa.
She said, do you have kids? Are you about to jot that down?
She didn't recognize your thick dermis.
She said, do you have kids? I was like, yeah. She was like, you have grandkids? I was like, that is the first time that has ever happened.
She asked you if you had kids first, though.
Yes.
So she was,
but she didn't stop there.
But she was just asking. That doesn't necessarily mean you look old.
Has that ever happened to you?
No.
I was like, what is making her ask me that? Is it because she does? I mean, she's a little older than me, but it was still crazy that she's fixed her face mouth to say that. I was like, wait, is it my little faint gray show? What is it?
But you have friends your age that are grandparents.
Yes, I do have one friend, but it was still weird. And the first time that's ever happened.
Heard that question before,
girl, and she doesn't know me at all. It was our first time meeting.
Is she a grandma?
Yes, it was our first time meeting.
That's why.
Just an older, it was someone's housekeeper, and it was just having like pleasantries. It wasn't anything like we weren't becoming
was
friends.
Just inquiring. I don't think she meant anything by that.
When you get that question, I was like, wait a minute. I've been thinking about that for 24 straight hours.
Really? You were jarred. It was jarring.
Yeah, somebody asked you, are you a grandma? No. So anyway, who else has something? It doesn't have to be a crazy question.
Peeve.
Okay, what's yours?
Pet peeve, and it happened to me today. Before I was coming over, I washed a load of clothes, put them in the dryer, and I left them in the dryer because I went to sleep. So I was looking for my clothes this morning, and so first I went to the dryer, it wasn't in there. Somebody had taken my clothes out the dryer and put them on a chair in the living room.
The living room.
Right, in the living room, which was fine.
Your drawers hanging up.
Right, you know. But it was cool because I was like, okay, I get it. Somebody else needed to use a dryer. But the clothes were not dry.
Well, they were
still damp.
Yeah.
And that is
smell moldy.
And that makes them stink.
That's so annoying. It's like, you feel this.
Yeah.
Like, you feel this when you were taking my clothes out the dryer.
Somebody must have been in a hurry or something.
Right. And just inconsiderate. Inconsiderate. That's my pet peeve. And it happens often that, you know, it could be sheets, it could be whatever, and something is not fully dry.
Yeah, and somebody waiting and they'll hurry up and put it in.
Just gonna take your wet stuff out.
Yeah.
Because they're in a hurry.
That happens over here too all the time. I get on them. They do it to each other, especially. Or during the school year, they'll do laundry late at night and they'll be like, my clothes aren't dry for the morning. Somebody stop the dryer. I'm like, look, get your laundry done ahead of time so that we don't have that issue.
Or just take your stuff out and hang it. That way in the morning time, you for sure it's going to be dry because you hung it up in your room.
Clothes don't dry overnight. A hoodie, a wet hoodie will be dry in the morning if you hang it up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dean does it
I
all
never
the time.
knew that. Oh.
And it keeps your stuff from shrinking.
But it doesn't get the mildew smell?
No, it's hanging.
So it's only when it's scrunched up
like
that will create the mildew
you just
smell.
hang it by the hood.
That's good to know.
Or your bedroom door, and it should be dry by the morning time.
That is good to know.
Yeah, but I have a pet peeve. I hate in the summertime, you know, because it's getting hot here in California. Bugs coming in the house. I get ants.
Yeah.
Just there's no food around. It's just random ants just scurrying around for no reason.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, we don't get ants, but we get
stuff.
flies. which is very annoying.
The kids leave the door open.
Yeah, but that's the most annoying.
Like ants just randomly. There's no. I clean my kitchen up every night. Wash the dishes, bleach it, everything. The counters down.
Yeah,
and the ants they
come one by one. Hurrah, hurrah.
Same.
The ants come
Same
marching.
with the ants.
That's my pet peeve.
So we're wrapping up the year. We finished. The kids are out of school. Now it's summer activities. We'll be busy running around with our kids. That's why we're taking a little breather.
Yeah.
But let's go back in time.
Do some recaps.
Yeah, do some recaps because we left a few cliffhangers out there with questions and things.
Cliffhangers.
Just things that have come up that we've said that we would get back to the listeners.
We've asked the listeners.
Yeah, we've asked questions. So we will revisit some of those things.
Yeah, I think before we revisit some of those things, if we could discuss some things that we've learned about each other.
Oh yeah, that's
since
good.
Since we've started the show, because we have learned so many new things about each other. and you two have known each other for much longer, even though I've been a part of the friend group for 15 years now. But you two have known each other as sisters. And so now I'm getting to know each of you, and right along with the listeners, we're sharing a lot of personal stories, things about our family, things that we didn't know about each other prior. And so I'll start.
Okay. Is your mic close enough to you?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I can hear myself just fine in my headphones. So what I've learned about you, Nakia.
Look, she's ready. Why are you so ready and eager and willing?
Because it just happened.
Oh.
Nakia likes to crunch ice.
I do like to crunch ice. And especially, let me tell you, on our last episode, my daddy was here. And let me tell you, at my big age of 48, I was still not drinking in front of my dad.
Really?
So I mean, not that he cares, but I wasn't raised like that. And now he's not a drinker at all. His house is like very dry.
Oh.
So it just feels weird. Not that he would ever say anything, but it's just something that I don't know. It is what it is. But so I have my fresh lemon drop here now, and I was very excited to drink it.
Goodness.
So I was chomping all the ice.
Chomping on the ice. And I'm wearing the headphones because I'm able, sometimes I don't speak loud enough, and this helps to keep me on track. And so when the kids started chomping on that ice,
She was like,
with these headphones on, I was like,
It went right to her ears.
Not only do you hum and whistle,
Right.
but you also crunch
crunching on
ice.
I heard that if you chew ice like that you're anemic. That means
Yeah, I
you're
have
anemic.
heard that.
I don't know
I am
how
slightly
true that
anemic.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super anemic. I don't chew on ice.
Oh, so maybe that's not true for everybody. It just tastes good, and our ice maker is the bomb.
Oh, wait.
It's like slushy ice, crunchy.
But what I also learned that was really cute, and I mentioned it with your dad, and it's been nice that we all have this in common, that we're all daddy's girls.
Yeah.
And I think it's so sweet because especially with this, we're in Father's Day season, in the month of Father's Day, and I do have a lot of friends who don't have relationships with their dads, and I would be that one friend who was a daddy's girl and had a relationship with my dad. And so it's nice that we're able to do this together. Yes, and that we're all daddy's girls because it's important. Even if our relationships have changed, we're all in different stages in our relationships with our dads, and your dad has passed on. And so it's nice that we're able to have this platform to be able to share, because I think so often men in general get a bad rap. Yeah. But also dads. And so having your dad on the show prior and just talking about the importance of dads and how you said, Camila, about, this attitude of I didn't need him anyway. You do. Yeah. You do. It's important. And that just goes back to what we've said before. Choose wisely.
Yes.
Treat kindly. Take your time and find that mate or partner that you're going to be able to parent with and do life together. Yeah. So it's been nice getting
or
to
not
know
necessarily
you.
do life together. like cohabitating,
Right.
but somebody that you'll be able to get
parent.
along with.
Yes.
Yeah, positive co-parenting
Yeah.
if it comes down to that. Yeah. So Dawn, I didn't know that you were so serious about the pronunciation of your name. That was from
I
day.
learned that too.
Yeah, that was day one. I was like,
But I thought we were saying it right the entire time anyways.
I wasn't. You may have, but
Well, she never got on me.
she got it. She got on me real quick. And ever since then, I've been very intentional about saying your name correctly, almost to the point where I mess it up the other way.
You do. But I appreciate
The
that
effort. I get an A for effort.
Trying.
Absolutely. A for effort.
Yeah, and I also didn't know that you were such a naughty little girl.
Ooh.
Yeah. and
That's been fun.
Yeah, that's been fun. I didn't
Yes.
realize you were as funny as you are, and you're a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The best story two stories. That cat.
Oh, the horny cat.
was one of my favorite episodes. Did we have visuals for that?
No,
one?
that
We
was
didn't have
early
visuals
on.
for that one, which was
Yes.
super sad. But that, if you guys listeners, if you get a chance to go back to listen to Horny Cat and the Missing Teen,
Yes.
OMG.
Funny and emotional.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was a great
and
episode.
emotional.
Great
That was a
episode.
really good episode.
We'll put that up
Yeah.
as one of our throwbacks while we're on a break.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite. I think it was probably one of my most vulnerable in the beginning too. I know I've shared more since then. And that child continues to help me grow.
Okay.
And
Stretches
me in a way that I didn't know I needed, and sometimes I don't want.
Yeah.
But also when you talk, when you mentioned, Nakia, about me being a naughty girl, it also just reminds me, because so often I can get on this a bit of a high horse. I could be judgmental. I could be tough.
Right.
But I need those reminders. And I remember I used to say, because I would just think about my mom and how we would have our difficult times when I was a teen. And I would always say, I hope when I'm a mom, I remember that developmentally, this is all right on time.
Okay.
And I wasn't saying that as a teenager, but maybe I was saying it when I was in school, because I feel like everything I did in my education was about to make me a better mom, to make me a better person. And so that's why I have my degree in child development. I have my master's degree as a family therapist, because it was all about making me a better person. And so I wouldn't have an excuse to be awful. But still, I'm certainly not perfect. But that child is the one that continues to test me and stretch me and let me know that there are other ways to do things. And so I appreciate it. I don't always appreciate it in the moment, but when I'm able to go back and reflect later, I do appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's helped a lot of people along the way. So
I hope so. I hope so.
being real.
Yeah.
My other story though too is our episodes when you got sick at the Christmas party.
OMG.
That was a good story. It wasn't
That was a long story.
It wasn't funny, but it was just like, oh my
so
god,
embarrassing. And I
was a moment.
went by that guy's house recently because our boys were having a fundraiser.
Oh, for the car wash?
Car wash fundraiser.
Okay.
And so, because we just couldn't get ourselves together, like we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
about how when kids have fundraisers, how before back in the day, we used to have to go out and actually do the work.
Wait, did you go over and ask him?
No. What I did was, because we no longer make our kids do the work, of course, we bought all the tickets ourselves. And then we were gifting.
So he didn't do any of the work?
Absolutely not. We were.
what was the fundraiser?
It was
You're
a car
supposed to
wash. They had
sell-
10 tickets.
Yes.
But the way they did it was they were like, you need to turn in $160 or what? No, I can't remember how
was
much it was.
$200.
$200
Okay.
immediately, like it was a due date, and then the car wash was 2 weeks after that.
Okay.
So of course, all the parents turned in the money like we were supposed
Right.
to, and the kids had to be accountable for selling them.
Okay. So you bought the tickets and then
We
went
just
out there
bought
and
the
just
tickets.
reversed it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, everybody had to turn in the money no matter what ahead of time.
But you reimbursed yourself by selling
Yeah, the kids sold the tickets. Guy did about 50% of them. And I was like,
nice.
you better get out there the same way you were texting me, like, I need the money by 3:00 today.
Right.
I was like, the same way the urgency needs to happen, go knock on those doors.
Yes.
He knew at least 6 neighbors that would do it immediately. So
nice.
he sold half, that was fine.
No, we didn't. We didn't do it that way. Landon didn't do it that way. We bought all the tickets and then we gifted them. So, well, for one, we have 50 million cars ourselves. So we probably had at least 5 cars.
Did you take them to get washed?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I took my car. My husband took
And they was out there.
one of his cars. Maya took a car. Morgan took a car.
Okay. So you needed the car washes.
So we needed, like, we had 5 cars on our own that we could have taken to be washed. But then the others, we were gifting them. So we have some neighbors on the right.
That's a sweet way to do it.
Yeah, really cool. There's a really cool neighbor, young guy, who, when we're out of town, he takes our trash cans out. Just really sweet.
That's nice. That's a really good way to do that.
Yeah. So we went, gave them some tickets.
Because they did have to actually work the car wash. So
yes, they did.
That was the
so
work.
they were
They
getting
physically
the work
washed
in.
the car?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were there. They washed the car.
And it was cold that day too.
It was drizzling, and I was wondering, like, how is this going to work?
Yeah.
But I gave another one to a coworker, and so that guy, the neighbor, and he's actually my husband's fraternity brother as well. I went by. I said, text him and let him know that I'm gonna leave him a car wash ticket. So I went to his door. I rang the doorbell. But he didn't answer. I just left it on the mat. But I'm thinking this dude
He's like,
probably
you better.
saw me on the ring. He's
like,
She's not throwing up. That episode is right after. That's the New Year's Day episode, listener. So if you want to go back and listen to Don's sick time at the holiday party, that is the episode to refer to.
Yes. Yeah. And the one I loved about you was the one where you had the boyfriend hiding in the closet.
Oh,
that juicy story
was hilarious. Yeah. And your mom slapping you across the room.
Yes.
And I love that because you are so tight with your mom.
Yeah.
And I love to hear those stories where, you're still able to have these wonderful relationships after
punched. Super socked across the room.
And I talked to her after, and I was like, she was like, yeah, I remember that dummy or something she was talking about. Yeah. She was like,
did she say this is gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me?
She didn't say it.
Did your parents ever say that? Did your parents ever say that? Like, I don't
think so. But my dad would say, come over here and get your spanking. He would like tell, get your spanking. I told you not to do that. I only got a few of them though.
I can't see your dad giving a spanking.
Yeah, he gave me a spanking.
He seemed like he would be the one that would say, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. But it's necessary.
I don't remember one specific one.
Or when I got my spanking, when I told Mr. Henry that he needed the dermatologist.
Oh, and that did you say something about his breath was stinking too?
No, it was just the craters on his face.
I just said I gave him my business card from my dermatologist. And we recently saw my dad, my girls and and I don't remember what we were talking, how spankings came up. But my dad did say to my girls, I had to spank your mom a couple times.
My dad only spanked me one time.
Your dad?
Once, yes. And I was little, and it really wasn't much of a spanking.
Yeah.
Yeah, just once.
Well, there were a few things. So there were several episodes where we had some opportunities to catch listeners up on some things that have been happening with us and some of our past guests, because there have been some really cool things happening with some of our past guests. Like Claudine and Gaynell didn't even know that they knew each other, but we saw
representing
that
Inglewood.
yes, that their children went to prom together.
And they look so good.
So gorgeous.
They look so nice.
So Claudine's daughter is
so
gorgeous.
pretty.
Gaynell's son is so handsome.
Now, are they boyfriend girlfriend or they were just prom dates?
I don't know. I don't
But
think
they look
so.
cute together.
How cute!
very
So
And the moms
cute.
are hot middle-aged moms representing.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and I missed the episode with Gaynell,
Yes.
and so it's cool seeing her online. She's beautiful.
She's really pretty.
Yeah, she does not look like a
Beautiful.
sheriff.
She does not look
is
like a
Sheriff
sheriff.
Gaynell. So look back at that episode. That's on
yes.
YouTube. And
Yeah, a lot of good
everything.
information.
Yeah.
Yes, and then our other sweet mom, one of the OG
Right.
middle-aged mamas from our very first episode, Allie, is doing it.
Yes.
Big things in
Yeah.
Canada right now as the producer of her show
What's the
that's
name
on
of the show?
Netflix.
Is it Benny and June or something?
No,
like that?
Jenny and Georgia.
Georgia and G. I don't know.
Something
It's
like
a
that.
Netflix show, but she
Yes.
is doing her thing as
She-
one of the
as one of the producers.
Gone for 4 months. So,
Woo!
yes, shout out to Allie.
We are so proud of her.
Yeah.
So proud of her. And then I'm sure inquiring minds want to know, what is the latest with your dog?
Yeah.
How is Mac doing?
To keep or not to keep?
Not to keep.
Oh.
I ended up rehoming
Oh.
Mac.
Is his picture still on Instagram?
It could be.
His welcome to the family picture.
Listen,
How
You
did it
know-
work? Because I'm trying to rehome.
Are you trying to rehome?
I'm trying to rehome Pepper, my
You
my
are
little
not
kitten.
trying to
I
get
am.
rid of your cat. You love that cat.
What's the process? What's the process?
Yo,
What's the process?
You can call the ASPCA. You can go to their website and they have information where you could put the cat's picture up,
profile.
and his information, and people go on there. Oh, I like the cat. Meet the cat. Rehome the cat if you like the cat, like that. So,
well, that's a responsible way to do it.
yeah, because
back in the day, they used to just let him off at the freeway.
and he could just go on. Yeah, you know?
Back in the 80s, they just
Yeah,
Back
no.
in the 80s.
That's not the right
was the
way. You know,
rehoming
and
process.
I did pay for the dog. I mean,
Right.
And I got him training and everything. But
he just wasn't
like,
a good fit.
Well, he wasn't a good fit because, and what I didn't know, and I've never experienced this growing up with dogs, and having a big backyard and all these other kind of things. But big dogs, and I don't know if it's just because it's a big dog, but he chewed up everything. He chewed up.
Well, he was
in
a
the
puppy. He still had puppy behavior.
He was chewing up all of the wires. He ate the sprinkler system, like I told you that. I still haven't gotten that replaced. My grass is dying. The
He ate the
internet.
tree.
He
What?
ate my avocado tree, the one that you was like, oh, you need to buy another one because
Yeah.
it needs a partner
Yeah.
to try to
To pollinate.
pollinate. He ate the avocado
Yeah, did you know that,
tree.
Dawn? Avocado trees need a male and a female to make avocados. You
Did
can't just
not
have
know that
one.
at all.
I didn't know that.
In the neighborhood, it just has to be in the neighborhood somewhere, the opposite gender, and
Really?
otherwise you will get no fruit.
I got no fruit.
Wow. Did
And
not
that
know
tree's
that.
been up for a while before I got there. Anyways, the air conditioning system, he was in the process of eating that up. Just ate my lemon tree, and we played. Well, my son played with the dog. Like he wasn't, and he was half in the house.
Yeah.
Well, mostly in the house, and then sometimes outside. But then in addition to that, like we were gone a lot, and he would be
and
alone.
that's a big factor.
And that's a big deal, you know, for a dog, not somebody, but for an animal that like him that needs he needs to be worked. Like he needs to run and walk and, you know, not be cooped up. And unfortunately, that's what was happening. So it just made more sense to try to find a family that he would fit with.
How
you know?
long has it been?
maybe 2 months.
Really?
That was right after that episode.
Wow.
Not well. Yeah, kind of.
How's Dean doing?
He did not take it very well initially, and I knew that it was going to hurt his feelings, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but I tried to explain to him, like sometimes, we want things and we want them very badly, but it doesn't make sense for our lives,
Right.
and it's not fair to the dog. We want him, we want to keep him. He's so cute, he's so fun, and you play with him when you feel like it, but it's not just a feel like it thing. Like, it has to be a constant thing.
And that's a good point.
It's not just about feelings. It's a big responsibility. And it just wasn't working for us. And I said, we tried multiple times, because this is not our first go around. This is like the third time. And I said, I was honest in my trying, because I paid for him, bought him, and then paid for training.
Yeah, you had all the right intentions.
I did all of the right things, but it just
still didn't work.
It didn't work out for us. So he's no longer with us. Yes.
Okay, what else you got? What else are we going to update everybody
Some
on?
other updates. So that day I had gone on strike from cooking.
Yeah.
Because the kids were not cleaning the kitchen.
So when you got home, what happened?
When I got home, the dishes were still in the sink. And
How many days had it been?
It had been at least 5 days.
5 days?
It had been at least 5 days.
Oh, I would have had a fit.
So yeah, I had to go in.
And you said you were going to go home and yell like a mad person.
Right. And, I hate that I have to do that.
Yeah.
Because my kids are old enough. And I don't know. I don't think I went home and went crazy. I just went home and I said, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed that I'm coming home and this kitchen is still dirty.
Like this.
So after that, I made up a schedule. That's what I did instead.
That's responsible.
I sent a text to the kids and I made up a schedule. And so they have somewhat been keeping to the schedule, but I'm able to take it off of me and off of feeling like it's my responsibility and put it on them. And I even put us in the rotation too. I put parents for Saturday. And so it's been going well.
Oh, that's smart.
Yes.
And I think that's good, because when it's multiple people living in a house,
Absolutely.
You don't know, or you can blame it on someone else. Well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. But if everybody has their own responsibility, then everybody is accountable for their own thing. So that's really good. I also thought about doing that as well, but they've started to get their act together when we're gone at work. I'm like, I am not coming home to a sink full of dishes. And it's that same speech.
Same thing.
So
Same thing.
I think they just get it, and they're like, Mom's coming home. They don't want to hear me, so they get into gear, and what I expect done is being done. So, but I think I'm also going to give them tasks, because I hear them say, "Well, I did this yesterday, and they didn't do that." They tell me the after stories.
Yeah.
Or Abby would just say, "Oh, I just told them all that you called and said the kitchen needs to be clean." She's such a boss.
Yeah, and it's summertime, so there are all these projects. Like, finally the garage the other day.
Yeah,
we still had stuff down from Christmas, like Christmas decorations. We typically put it up.
Yeah, put it away,
like a top. There was still stuff. I mean, there was still like a little tree that hadn't even been broken down
in the garage
and put in the box, just sitting there, just junk everywhere.
Yeah.
So I asked my husband the other day to take out one of his project cars, one of the Corvettes. Okay, and so then I was able to have access to those things, and I called my son out, who was chilling in his room. The room that still smells, if you're wondering. Update there. And I said, hey, I need you to come help me. I need you to get on this ladder. And he came out and he was complaining. And I just said, son, not going to do this.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Right.
I need you to come out in some shoes, some closed-toe shoes.
Okay, because they love them sandals.
I don't need you going up this high ladder in some sandals. I'm going to spot you, because he kept saying, I need you to just stand behind me.
And he's all tall. Right. I bet on a ladder, it's really high for tall people.
It is. Right. It is. So I had to spot him. But he did. He came out. He helped me. We were able to.
From your drink.
Thank you.
On the other side.
There you go.
Thank you so much. It was tasty. But yeah, so I'm starting with my projects. And my husband, too, is like, every other day he's like, we have a contractor coming for this. We have so this is like summertime.
Yeah, get those projects done.
Getting all those projects done. Yeah. And letting the kids get in on it has been nice. And I'm not even saying, I don't want to hear, there was something going on in our text group. One of the kids said, I don't eat at home, so I don't need to. I said, we're not playing those games.
Yeah, I saw.
We're not playing those games.
I saw the other day, I was on Instagram, and Steph Curry's mom was like, she told her kids early on, in order for this house to function, you have things that you need to do as well as the things that I need to do.
Yes.
So if you're not doing your stuff, you're not going to. So she had to miss like his junior high opening game because he didn't complete his chores. So just sticking to those.
Absolutely.
In order for this household to work,
you got to do your part.
There are things that you need to do. We sacrifice a lot by driving these kids all over town doing this and that. So yeah, at home, you're going to help take the load off of the upkeep of the house and get it done. And I don't care how much you complain. But I think that we're at a point where the complaints aren't, they just expect it because they know that it's necessary, unless it's like, they only complain if I'm like going on and on and on and on.
Right.
Well, I haven't gotten to that
I
point
usually say, okay, after you do this, you're officially done. And so they know.
So they know nothing else is coming.
Yeah.
So I know listeners want to know what is going on, because we did ask the question of what would you do if you were in this position with Nakia and her sweet, sweet husband and the snooze. The ongoing.
Let me tell you.
Has it gotten better?
First of all, let me tell you that clip, that reel that we put out there, is our biggest reel yet. There's like 40,000 views on that thing.
OMG. More than Alexis? Because we had so many.
On Instagram, yes.
Wow.
On Instagram, because on... I don't think, did I even put it on TikTok? I don't know. But on Instagram, that's the biggest viewing.
It's on TikTok too.
And he doesn't even know I talked about it. I couldn't even celebrate it with him because I was scared to tell him I was talking about it. So I used to don't know I was talking about it. But no, it hasn't gotten better. I just get up earlier, and I actually need to get up earlier. And I think I asked him to just turn the volume down. So I'm just getting up at that first alarm.
Yeah.
And that's just the end of it.
So how does getting up earlier help you?
How does it help me?
Like, what are you doing when you get up early? Are you working out? Are you...
Yeah, I'm just taking my time. I'll pray. I'll listen to music. Just enjoying moments before I have to get out of the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's not something that I'm going to take on. It just is what it is.
Are you going to share it with him? Like, we don't want him to find it because he does so much for us. Yeah, he really does. Like we don't want him
I'll tell him
quit his free job.
He probably won't even care, but he's very private.
Yes.
And it's not even that big of a deal, but I just didn't mention it, that I talked about his kid. A lot of people had a lot of things to say, though. They were giving me advice on sleeping in separate. They were like, normalize sleeping in separate spaces.
Right.
Some other stuff.
I don't like that.
Me either.
No. I tried that, but my husband doesn't like it either, because I had gone somewhere once to a retreat, and I learned that I'm just like this off, like snoring was just off the chain.
Snore?
And during that time, it was...
You didn't know this?
I knew that I snored. My husband talked to me about it before, but that particular weekend, I also had... I had a cold or something. So it was just really, really crazy. And so when I got back from that retreat, because I was still really congested, I went to go sleep in the guest room. It's not the guest room. It's our daughter's room who's away at college. So I went in there because one night I was just up, just coughing. And my husband has to go to work, and I want him to be rested.
Yeah.
And so I went into the other room. And then that morning, he came in there to kiss me goodbye, and he's like, "Is everything okay?" Like he was wondering why I was in the other room. He thought he was in trouble. And I was like, no, it's
You're
fine.
just taking care of your
Yes,
hubby.
yes. And so I did it again the second night because I still wasn't feeling great. I think I went straight to the room, my daughter's room, as opposed to waking up in the middle of the night and going in there. So he sent me a text at work saying, "I miss having you in the bed at night."
Aww.
And so he's such a sweetie. And he's like, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Oh, I was sparing you because I'm snoring. I'm really congested." And he's like, "Nah. Come on back, baby."
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing like a warm,
I think
comfy
I think I was gonna
bedmates.
try to turn one of them off, like when I get up to do my middle-aged peas. But I'm always so out of it, I just climb back into bed. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
What's next?
So this is very recent, from a very recent episode about midlife crisis and do women have it and what does it look like? And we kind of explored a little bit, but I was doing some and I was doing some research, and so it is a real thing. It looks different in women than it does in men. And, we always talk about menopause and perimenopause. I think everybody right now is talking about perimenopause. But what it says is that a midlife crisis is a period of emotional turmoil that can occur in women between the ages of 35 and 65. So again,
That's
those
kind of a young.
Yes. And that's what I was saying is when I first started researching about middle-aged women and what's that age group, and sometimes it'll say 40 to 60, but we're seeing here it's saying 35 to 65. So I guess it just depends on what you're looking at, but it says it's a time of transition when people may struggle with their identity, self-confidence, life choices, and some of the symptoms. And it's interesting because some of these symptoms do sound similar to menopause. Some of the emotional stuff that occurs, feeling sad, bored, unfulfilled, loss of meaning or purpose in life, feelings of nostalgia. So reminiscing on the way things
Going
used to
back.
be. Yes,
I used to be so pretty.
I used to be so fine.
Yeah. I need to stop showing my kids pictures of my six pack.
Oh, okay.
Before them.
I never had a six pack, but I'm sure I'm always pulling out that wedding picture and always thinking like Martin and I should have been wedding models.
Yeah.
Like that should have been, when I saw those pictures, I was like, damn, we look good.
Gorgeous couple.
We need to be getting paid for this.
For your 1990 pictures. You're trying to get paid now for your
Trying to get paid.
1990s.
It wasn't even in the 90s. It was in the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Thinking about the past excessively, another, making impulsive actions. And that's what, I think we see more like with men when we talk about going out buying new cars, going out getting a younger woman, getting, starting to work out and all of these things. Withdrawing from social situations. So not wanting to be as active as before, spending money irresponsibly, questioning life choices.
Wait, if I have the midlife crisis.
Okay.
What you say?
So wait a minute, if I having one,
Right.
we going down the list, I'm checking them off.
You're like,
Like,
yes.
I'm doing that. I'm doing
Yes.
Wait, what that mean?
Yes.
How many do you have to qualify?
For the diagnosis.
Yes.
Right.
How many? Because
It's
so
usually
far,
3 out of 5.
Okay.
But you,
Crisis.
and contemplating new directions. I think that's the one that we talked about the most, right? Contemplating new directions. That's what we see happening. Women making new job choices. What is it you're
must be
trying to do?
going through
You're like I got everything. I got everything on the list.
Listen, let me tell you really
I
quick.
got everything on the list.
This guy, not too well, like late last year, an ex-boyfriend of mine called me. No, not good. And now that we talked about the midlife crisis, like some of the things on that list are reminding me of how he came to start trying to talk to me again.
Because reminiscent, she was fine.
Yes,
Camila with her bug.
He told
back
me
in the day.
And I did have my bug then.
I know.
I had a bug too.
I didn't have one.
He called me out of the blue. First of all, no, he didn't call me. He contacted me on Instagram and liked all of my pictures. Always beautiful. Yada yada.
Did he subscribe to the podcast?
No, probably not. But I don't know. Anyways, but he was. When I say a looker, he was fine. Oh, very, very nice looking young man. But anyways, he told me that he contacted. Well, he was in the process of getting a divorce.
Right.
Yes.
Here we go.
But he contacted me because I was just thinking about all of my relationships, and the relationship that I had with you was like the probably the best relationship that
20
I've
years
ever
after the fact, 30 years.
that I've ever had. And he just ran down his whole story about all that he had been through up until this point. And so one night we were on the phone.
Wait a minute, you were on the phone to present day?
How did it go from Instagram post to we was on the phone?
Listen, I didn't realize that he was married until this.
Wait a minute.
That he was still, married with the lady.
Wait a minute.
In the house with the lady.
He was on the phone with you?
Yes, he was
you
in
somebody's phone mistress?
No.
Was he in the car on the phone?
I was not a phone mistress. He was in the process of divorcing, but what made it worse is that he was still in the house with this lady.
How'd you get caught up in that?
I really wasn't caught up because we were just talking. I mean, he wasn't like my lover.
I know, but
we were just talking.
I wasn't expected to go that way.
No,
I thought you were going to say he was just reminiscing, left you like a DM, and you're like, oh, I remember that guy.
Right.
No.
All of a sudden, he was on the phone.
Because I was I didn't have a problem with talking to him, and I was trying to see, what happened. What would happen? I mean, I didn't hate him when we broke up.
He was a looker.
But when he started telling me, running it down, all of the stuff that he had been through and was currently like happening, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all still, you ain't, no. You're still in the same house. You haven't even left the house yet.
You're not available.
No.
Wow.
He might have been emotionally like available, but yeah.
There was still sharing
but just all of the stuff that you read. I am not going to say his name, girl. All of the stuff that you read is just like, he must have been going through.
He was probably going through a midlife crisis.
Because all of this, he had children by different women. He had been in the army. He had just lived a life, And then I'm just trying to find, the person that I had the best relationship with.
Please.
And I was thinking to myself, is that? I don't think that's me because you broke up with me, and a whole bunch of other reasons, why we were not together. But anyways, I just thought that was interesting.
That's so funny. So how's the dating? I know you've are you still on
no.
What will be? What was that? eHarmony.
No,
eHarmony.
girl, I owe them money too. Yeah, no.
You done?
I mean, I don't want to bash that service. I mean, some people, do well with it, but it's just, and that's my second go round with online dating. I hate it.
What was the downside? Did you have any good prospects?
No,
none.
I wish you could see some of the people that they send you.
But are you just going by looks? Because sometimes you have to meet people and go by interest and hobbies and things like
sometimes even you can't even get to the profile because they look so crazy.
Oh, okay, it's like that.
Yeah.
So people aren't putting like
their best foot forward.
Yeah, like your best
First
picture.
Of all,
like
men,
they lie.
No, they take
like
the
catfish.
worst pictures. They take the worst pictures.
They're like,
They take the worst pictures. Like it'll be like,
or like this.
Or if it is a good picture, then they're too into themselves. Like if they got awesome, like professional, you're like you're corny.
Pictures, and a lot of the times I think that some of the people are on there and they already are in a relationship or already have something going on.
Oh,
they
like
need to be
that
on Ashley
show.
Madison.
Ashley Madison.
I mean, there's some truth to that. You know, and then also, like, I don't care what anyone says, but initial attraction, that's what's going to grab you. Like, someone's not going to look at my picture and be like, I don't like that mole next to her nose. You know what I'm saying? Or they could say that, but, you know, something about me does not move them.
She remind me
of
Tiffany
saying? And, you know... And they're gonna, you know, swipe right past me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't float their boat. You know,
right.
I mean, and that's for anyone.
But were you getting a lot of people swiping for you? Is that the swiper?
No.
Mm-mm. So it wasn't that. It wasn't that you were. I was thinking you were getting a lot of attention, but it wasn't from people that you were interested in. No, because you're gorgeous.
Well, thank you, but no.
Interesting.
So yeah,
you just need to be set up. That's what it boils down to.
I think that's probably the optimal way for most people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the online dating is just not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got?
I'm wondering, still on this. I'm wondering, do people recognize you when you're out, like from the podcast? Has anybody had that? Like,
I've
nobody.
Had that. Well, because I'm around different groups of people, they will come up. People that I didn't know listened, or like friends of a friend, or there's people that are fans of the show, and then they'll tell somebody else, and then they'll meet me, and then they'll want to talk about the podcast. Yeah, so I get a lot of that.
So you haven't had any dudes?
I have. Okay. I was at a USC basketball game actually.
Ooh.
And one of the dads was there with his son. He was like, "Great podcast." I was like, "Thank you." This happened a while ago. This happened when we first started. This happened when we first started.
Oh, I love it.
And he follows me on Instagram. He follows us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened once a long time ago.
Oh, because I was out the other day.
And you famous? Girl?
I was thinking I was famous. So it was when I took my daughter for her driving test. Mm-hmm. And there was this woman that was helping us at DMV, a black woman, it looked like a middle-aged woman. Mm-hmm. And she was whispering and she was saying something about somebody was famous. Mm-hmm. And I was like, huh? And she said it again. And I was like, huh? And so then she said it a little louder and she said, the man behind you is famous. And so I said, oh, I thought you were asking if I was famous.
He was waiting for your moment.
Right. And so I'm trying like to not turn around and look at the man, and my daughter too. Like we're both trying to be cool. So we did turn around and like peek to see who it was. And then I said to the woman when I said, oh, I thought you were saying, was I famous? And she said, oh, are you? I said, well, I have a podcast. And then she said, oh, what's the name? And I said, Middle-Aged Mamas. And she said, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out. And I was like, no, you know, I'm not famous yet. She said, you see what happened to Auntie Tabitha over a Whole Foods sandwich? I said, yes, I'm claiming it. I'm claiming it. So then when I turned around and I saw the guy, it was Michael Beach was the actor that was behind me.
He used to go to school with the kids.
Okay,
and when I used to work at the Y 1,000 years ago, he used to come for swimming lessons with his kids.
So he was there with his son, doing his driving test as well. And so my daughter was like, oh, who is that guy? Because of course she doesn't know. You know, I think he might be 60.
Waiting to Exhale famous.
And I said,
is he waiting to Exhale?
You know, that's the one that Angela Angela
You know
Bassett.
what?
That was the
That's
husband where she
right.
did the
left
match to the
her.
car. Yeah, it was him.
I
You're
forgot,
right. I
about,
forgot about
that.
that one.
The one I mentioned
That's
to
the most
my
famous.
daughter, I mentioned Soul Food, and my daughter,
And when
of
he was
course,
cheating on Vanessa Williams.
yes,
Oh, you know, he's cheating on
with
somebody.
the cousin,
I know, right?
with the cousin,
Yes.
and so I was trying to tell my daughter like who he was, and she's like, I don't know who that is. You know, he just looks like an elderly.
He was
black
in another
man.
movie a long time ago where he was a killer.
He's on something right now, something that's on Netflix.
Okay. He's a
Yeah,
good
his
actor.
wife is a blogger, like a mommy blogger.
Yes.
The mommy forum, the mom forum. So shout out
Yes.
to, can't think of her name off the top of my
I
head.
can't think
but,
of her name either, but this is his second wife.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the
But
first wife, they're like friends. They like live all
they
together.
live
Yes.
together.
right. Yeah, that's
Right. Like, is it like
It's a
a
very
sister
unique
wife
situation.
No, I don't think it's like that, but he takes, he makes sure his first wife is taken
Yeah.
care of, which is
Yeah.
lovely. So I remember they used to come in as a family with their kids and swimming
Wow.
lessons.
I think it
and-
has something to do with not wanting to break up that
Initial family.
with
Yeah.
his children because they
Yeah.
were still kind of young. That's
Yeah.
an interesting story.
It's
Yeah.
very
Time
interesting.
to get her on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, for season 2, we'll
Yeah,
ask her
that'd
to
be a great
come
story.
on.
Yeah.
So listeners, we thank you so
Yes.
much
This has been an
for joining
awesome
us.
ride.
We have so many new friends over the last month. So go back while we're on our break and listen to all those first
Get caught
episodes. Get caught up with us, and we will be back very soon for season
Yes.
2
Yes.
with new guests, new stories to share.
And we're going to visit some
And-
new shows as well.
Yeah,
Right, we're gonna
so
be guests.
look out for us. But thank you guys so much for joining in. Until
Until next time.
Yes.
next time. Cheers, you guys. We did it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Instagram at 3_MAMA.S, on TikTok, and you can watch us on YouTube. If you'd like to reach out, you can email us at middleagemamas@gmail.com.